What I want to do is just go through some of the things that we're doing as a society at the moment. And there's a lot going on, an awful lot. So this is just a summary of some of the key things. The first thing I want to talk about is the Buddy scheme. Now, we're very excited about this. Basically, it's an attempt to bring patients and carers together. We're in association with our sister charity, Leukaemia Care, who are doing all of the organisation. And essentially, it's to put people in touch, because many people who've just been diagnosed need a helping hand. I think many people in this room would recognise that. We try to make that available. It's available online or by telephone. If anyone is interested in either becoming a buddy, you can be a carer, you can be a patient, and you think you can help someone who's just been diagnosed, or maybe you've had a treatment, and you can explain to other people what that treatment meant to you, that's an enormous help to everybody. It was set up about a year ago, originally as a trial, and it's developed from that. It's been enormously successful, and I've just been given by Donna, who you'll know outside there at the Leukaemia Care table. There are now, as a result of the Buddy scheme, it's ongoing. It's now been funded for the next few years. And there are support groups now open or opening in Cambridge, Leicester, Nottingham, and in future, Southampton. All of those are, apart from Southampton, that should be coming online fairly soon. The others are up and running. If you feel that you would like to become a member of the support group, if you feel that it would help you, have a word with Donna outside. She has all the dates for the next, from here to the end of the year for each of those. And we hope to develop that all over the country. But the next thing I want to talk about is the information pack. It seems to us that patients should be provided with as much information as possible when they're diagnosed. And it doesn't, unfortunately, happen in all cases. And many patients are simply in the dark about what to do and the implications of where to look and where to turn. Out of interest, I've asked this on my own table over here, but I wonder if you could put your hand up if you feel that you had enough information given to you at the time you were diagnosed. So those people who felt they had enough information. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not many, really. Not many. The remainder of you clearly didn't have quite enough. We want to try and begin to rectify that. So we're producing a new booklet, which will be available, we hope, later this year. All of the information has been done. It needs to be edited now, and it needs to be designed. If anyone knows or is interested in graphic art, it could help us, because we're going to put some graphics in there. And rather than spend a lot of money on a graphic artist at an agency, if anybody can help, we'd be very interested to talk to them. The next one is the website. The website is probably our most valuable asset at the moment. It's how we actually recruit most members, and it is quite successful. If you were to Google CLL, you'd find us second or third on the list of Google's searches. So it is working, but it was designed about 10 years ago by a couple of trustees on very little budget, and over the years it's become a little bit dated and quite difficult to navigate. One of the things we want to do is to completely refurbish that, start to finish. So hopefully this year, later this year, we'll have a new website, which we think is going to be quite interesting. It's a very big step for us because it's not cheap, and but being an essential asset, we want it to be used more. And when it's difficult to negotiate, we think the people don't get all the information they can. There are a lot of pages on there that aren't used at all, which contain an enormous amount of helpful information. We want to stop that and bring it in. So that will be quite a major change as far as we're concerned. Nice. Yeah. This is a little bit of a technical area, but it's vitally important because, as many of you will know, NICE is the body that basically has the power to approve or reject new treatments. This is very much an ongoing issue, and it's a constant issue, but we are represented on the NICE committees that are considering CLL-related drugs. And you may have seen from the recent newsletter that, along with our fellow Leukaemia Care and other charities, we managed to persuade NICE to approve, along with consultants' pressure as well, the venetoclax and rituximab combination. Jackie, who you heard earlier, was our representative and presented to the committee. And Leukaemia Care put someone up as well as a patient representative. And that carries a great deal of weight. And the fact that Jackie comes from CLL carries even more weight, because as a body, we can make our voice heard. And that's absolutely important. The CLL Forum. David Innes, who is our current chairman, is represented on the forum as our representative. And this is really a body of very distinguished people. It represents just about all of the significant CLL consultants in the country. Effectively, they shape the CLL landscape in the UK. Recently, they published a set of guidelines which details the treatment path that consultants should be working towards for various patients under various conditions. That's a pretty comprehensive report, and it is now written in stone as the guidelines. We, however, felt that it didn't consider quite enough about the emotional and psychological impact, and we think that's very important. So we have persuaded the forum to allow us to produce a paper which will be a new set of guidelines considering those factors. And again, because a single voice often isn't heard, we've aligned ourselves with several other charities, Leukaemia Care, Lymphoma Association, and the psychology team at Christie Hospital, together with a number of specialists and clinical nurse specialists particularly. So we've formed ourselves into a sort of body, and we're going to produce this paper, hopefully by the end of the year. It will be published, and I would hope that it will be accepted by the forum and become part of the clinical practice. And we think that's extremely important. Right, that's about all I'm going to say at the moment, except for one more, which is fundraising. Because without your help, we couldn't put anything on like this. We couldn't do any of the things that I mentioned earlier, all of which require, unfortunately, money. It can be a dirty word. We do get funding from pharmaceutical companies, but we're very keen to reduce that amount as far as possible. We would not be able to put this conference on and other things without their help. We couldn't have started the organization without their help. But we're very conscious of the fact that we don't want to be overburdened with that. So we have to look for other sources of funding. And one of the areas which is very helpful to us is our membership. Now, I don't expect many members want to run a marathon, but you might know someone, have a son, a daughter, a colleague, or whatever, that might be interested in raising some money. For example, in a few months' time, there'll be the Virgin 10K run in London. It's a fantastic short run. It's full of fun. There's a band every kilometre, and everybody thoroughly enjoys themselves. You get free water, free food, and everything. Last year, members ran in that. We had a team of 22 people, and they raised £18,000. That lets us put on 2 conferences. This is one of those conferences. Without that income, we probably wouldn't be here today. It would be very difficult for us to mount this conference. And this year we're putting on 6 conferences instead of 4, which means extra commitment. Probably an extra £20,000 has got to come if we want to do the same thing next year. So, if you happen to know anybody who's keen on a bike ride, or can do anything as simple as a cake baking morning, a coffee morning, every pound helps us. £10 helps us a lot more, and £100 helps us a lot more than that. £10,000 is just an incredible amount. 18,000 from last year's run was amazing. So whilst you might not feel totally fit or want to run, you may know someone who can do that. Please, please, please have a think about it. And if you can come up with any brilliant ideas, Sarah outside is our coordinator. She would love to be able to help you. She'll give you lots of information, and just have a think about it if you would.